Well, Dave, speaking of like weight class, heavyweights, that's the top dog of all of them, right? Technically.
Technically, yeah.
Technically, right? The heavyweight champ is the champ of all of them. It's got to be, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I want to segue into who's your favorite heavyweight champ of all time?
Wow.
Any era, current, past, old English Queen's Book rules, anything.
If I had to say, just because he's such a badass, in terms of all his life, and Jack Johnson. I love Jack Johnson. The man broke rules. They made laws about Jack Johnson. He didn't give a.
Tell us what those laws were. What do you mean? What laws?
So, the whole Mann Act. So, he was supposedly kidnapping white women, taking them across.
Oh, right.
He did whatever the fuck he wanted. He was Jack.
Right. You couldn't, as a black man, transport a white woman across state lines.
Yeah.
Right. And he was dating a white woman, or married even, maybe.
I think 17 at the time. It all depends on different variations. He was a guy who was a trendsetter, and he didn't want to be. He's just, that's who he was. He didn't do it for, what the kids call clout now. He didn't do it for any of that. He just did it because he was Jack fucking Johnson. I just love that about him. And again, and he was an amazing boxer. Let's not discredit that. He beat everyone at the time when no one gave him a chance. But yeah, he's my favorite all-time heavyweight.
What about you, Caesar? I know some people say Muhammad Ali's the greatest, but
I'm actually gonna go with Tyson Fury.
Wow.
Just still his background, where he came from, and man, when I watch him box, that's a big guy boxing, bro. He can box.
Right.
He moves like you can't hit him. He's so big.
Right. For 6'9",
Crazy.
Right.
Very, very, very like watching the fight. Hopefully he fights Usyk, right?
Usyk.
Alexander Usyk. That'll be a great matchup. And
great fight.
I think that'll show if really the huge guys can fight the smaller guys in the heavyweight division, right? And they're both pure boxers as well.
Really?
Usyk and Fury. Fury reminds me of his boxing style, like Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah,
and they're both like that gypsy, English style.
Yeah. How about you?
My favorite heavyweight of all time is Mike Tyson. Oof. And it's more in the ring than out of the ring, even though what he did in the ring was, just for a few minutes, maybe even less than a minute. He was just so ferocious, and he always had bad intentions. And that type of grit, when I was growing up watching boxing, that was what I loved, is just a relentlessness. And, like, it's not heavyweights, but welterweight. Mayweather was such a defense oriented fighter, right? Not getting hit because you want to prolong your career, right? So Tyson had a different approach where he would knock you out so he doesn't get touched up at all. He doesn't have to go 12 rounds.
Get him out of there. Get him out of there. That's all he wanted.
Right. Get him out of there.
Next.
How about Peter? You got a favorite heavyweight all time?
Oh, man. I'll say Andy Ruiz Jr. The first.
Nice pick.
Andy Ruiz.
Actually, talking about him, I want him to fight Waller.
You think?
That's an odd matchup.
He begging Fury.
He's fighting my boy, 87-year-old Luis Ortiz.
Word.
And again, that's my countryman, and I love Luis Ortiz. But
when are they fighting?
They're fighting in August 24th, I believe.
Awesome.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Luis Jr.
Especially we making weight, right? How the fuck we can't love Andy, bro?
Oh,
yeah, right.
No.
I was just disappointed. He came in like 300 pounds.
In the neck. Yes, you're right. He did not take his training seriously. He thought he really was this hidden gem treasure of a talent, and he went in cocky in the second fight and he got schooled. That's my assessment. He was out buying everything and doing what we would probably do if we became heavyweight champ overnight.